Welcome to part 2 of our series on Arms and the Man. It is a classic play by George Bernard Shaw, first staged in 1894, set against the backdrop of the brief Serbo or Bulgarian War of 1885. In this work, Shaw dismantles the romanticized ideals traditionally associated with warfare. Through sharp dialogue and deft characterization, he brings the lofty illusions of heroism into direct conflict with the harsh realities of battle, revealing the gap between noble ideals and human practicality. The fall of 1885 in Bulgaria. Streetlights shone dimly on the veranda of the Petkoff household. Nightly silence had reigned for some time. The lane lay still, as if waiting for the return of men who had devoted themselves to the ongoing war against Serbia. Inside, young Raina Petkoff gazed at the stars from her window. She was lost in a reverie of her own, ignorant of the unusually silent neighborhood since late evening. Just then, her mother swept in, excitement sparkling in her eyes. More striking than the flush in her features was the sheen of her lavish gown, shimmering brightly as though it intended to blind the beholder, to blind them, perhaps, to her human flaws.
Raina! Raina! You heard the news, dear?
Called out her mother cheerily.
What's the matter, Mama?
Inquired Raina, a bit perplexed. Mrs. Petkoff rejoiced in her daughter's apparent ignorance, which she considered a sign of a rich, pampered lady, one who had a tendency to bring her all the news. To her, self-exertion was an unwanted sign in nobility. Hugging her daughter tightly, she informed,
Bulgaria has won the Battle of Slivnica, heroically competing alongside our Russian allies against Serbia. And guess who led the cavalry? You belong to him, dear.
She said, caressing her daughter with motherly pride.
Father, right? There's no one more heroic than him in the entire Bulgaria.
Guessed Raina with childlike joy.
There is one, dear, who even outshines him in both looks and valor, and he was the hero of today's conclusive battle.
Replied her mother, pointing towards a gilded portrait of a nobleman, whose painted smile seemed to follow the gaze of any admirer. Raina cried out in joy.
Oh, Mama, I knew from the very beginning the honor and valor of my Byronic hero, Sergius. He is best in all respects. Though it was a pity that I doubted his grace alongside the Russian soldiers, thank you for reassuring my faith in my fiance.
As the mother-daughter duo pored over Sergius's features and compared him to the heroes crafted by Byron and Pushkin, the maid Luca entered without knocking, coughing slightly. Luca was about Raina's age. Though her dress and duties placed her far below Raina in the social hierarchy, her beauty and sharp wit could rival and perhaps even surpass her mistresses.
Madam,
Luca said,
fleeing Serbian soldiers may be roaming, seeking refuge in Bulgarian homes. They must be loaded with ammunition. We should shut all the doors and windows to safeguard ourselves.
Mrs. Petkoff looked alarmed and hurried to carry out the suggestion. Just as she left Raina's bedroom, Luca leaned over and whispered in her silky voice.
One of the bolts on your window is faulty. You might leave it open to hear news from outside. I won't tell, madam.
She chuckled softly.
Shut up, Luca. You don't give me instructions. Go and help Mama.
Luca scowled and closed the door with a thud. Raina, unconcerned, left the window unfastened. She changed into her nightdress and turned off the lights. She was about to fall romantically onto her bed when the faulty bolt gave way and a strange figure leapt awkwardly into her room.
Who's there?
Cried Raina, reaching to turn on the light. Her tone held more curiosity than fear. The light fell upon a roguish face, dull, haggard, and seemingly tired of battling death itself. As her gaze went lower, she saw the man in torn and crumpled Serbian army uniform.
So, you are a?
She began, but her sentence was cut short by a knock at the door. Luca had returned, this time with her mother and 2 officers.
Raina. The officer suspects a fleeing soldier climbed our pipe and entered your room. Are you all right, dear? Please open the door.
Her mother called anxiously. Raina looked into the stranger's eyes, giving him a silent warning before opening the door. The man raised his pistol at her head.
I am not afraid, mind you.
Raina said steadily.
We know, dear, but open the door.
Urged her mother. Before she could respond, the soldier drew her close and whispered teasingly.
Really? You want to be caught with me while wearing that rather revealing night dress?
Flustered yet defiant, Raina called back.
There's no one here, Mama.
The officer decided to force the door open. The soldier, feeling a pang of pity, handed Raina a shawl to cover herself and he hid behind a curtain. She softened slightly, touched by his gesture, but allowed the officers to search. Finding nothing, they apologized for disturbing her. Luca lingered with a glare, but Raina ordered.
Luca, stay with Mama. I can take care of myself.
When they left, Raina locked the door, and the soldier emerged.
Oh God! Your gun was lying there on the ottoman all along. You seem inexperienced, too powerless. I bet even I could overpower you.
Raina teased, picking it up.
You may try to shoot me with that unloaded gun.
He replied with a grin.
What? You're in an enemy country without ammunition?
She asked in surprise. The soldier chuckled.
Your dress was a better weapon than any gun tonight.
Oh, don't boast. It's ignoble to flee the battlefield without even bullets.
Raina mocked.
To choose life over battle is a sign of experience, Chuck.
He said.
When you're under fire for days, you naturally seek to survive.
And how do you sustain life among enemies?
She asked.
With candies instead of bullets.
He replied.
I've survived on them before, but I've run out.
His eyes fell on a box of chocolate creams, and Raina, catching his longing, offered them. She spoke proudly of the Petkoffs, the wealthiest family in Bulgaria, with the only private library in the country. The soldier, still eating, listened in silence. Raina then pointed at Sergius's portrait.
He's my beloved fiance, the pride of our nation. I'm sure you Serbians found him a nightmare.
The soldier's tone turned grim.
There's nothing noble in war. Nations compromise in the end. Only fools fight to the last breath.
What? Don't you have pride in Serbia?
Why should I? I'm only a Swiss mercenary.
He said with a smirk.
Whatever, see, he's my fiance.
Said Raina, pointing at Sergius's portrait once again.
A paragon of military elegance. You'd be smitten with Sergius's charm if you met him.
The soldier stifled a laugh.
That naive man is your fiance?
Raina's eyes blazed.
He led the Bulgarian cavalry. You're just jealous. Right?
The Bulgarians triumphed more by sheer luck than by military skill. What else but fools could you call soldiers who ventured into enemy territory armed with nothing more than horses and traditional weapons, facing opponents equipped with machine guns? Had we not been mistakenly undersupplied, the Bulgarian forces might have been mowed down.
Furious, Raina demanded he leave. He fell to his knees, begging to stay until the search died down. Pitying him, she agreed and asked his leave to involve her mother in the matter.
Raina, dear, we might be charged with the crime of sheltering an enemy. Your father's and fiance's reputations will be at stake.
Her mother opined as they both went to Raina's room. They entered the room to find the soldier asleep on Raina's cozy bed.
Mother, the poor dear has not slept for days. Let him sleep a bit while we make arrangements,
whispered Raina. At dawn, they tended his wounds, gave him Major Petkoff's overcoat, and slipped him out with a supply of sweets. The lane outside remained silent as the soldier limped away, faster with each step. Raina watched wistfully until he vanished, and her mother finally breathed in relief.